Hello, everyone, and namaste. Karuna here, and I'm really excited to talk to you about HELICHRYSUM. So let's start off. If you have HELICHRYSUM, I invite you to open up your bottle of HELICHRYSUM. Inhale deeply and just think about how that affects you. What does it smell like? What does it remind you of? For me, it kind of smells like laying in a big open field of hay. Kind of smells sweet, earthy. It's very herby. So let's take a drop of that and put that in our hands. This is such a precious oil. Rub our hands together and just begin to smell that. And begin to anoint your third eye center, your brow, and then start with meditation. I need to put it over my heart center. It smells like flowers, very earthy, very beautiful. Okay, so I invite you to close your eyes, sit up nice and tall, really ground down into your seat. Deep breathe. Just relax the body as you breathe in the aroma of HELICHRYSUM. And repeat this affirmation after me. All that I need is always within my reach. All that I need is always within my reach. And place your hands on your heart center and then repeat, I am grateful for all that I have. I am grateful for all that I have. I easily adapt to my changing environment. I easily adapt to my changing environment. Change is good. I embrace transitions as they exist within my life. I embrace transitions as they exist within my life. I give to others and readily accept their gifts in return. I give love to others and readily accept their gift of love in return. I relax in nature to regenerate and rejuvenate. I relax into nature to regenerate and rejuvenate. That feels so good, right? HELICHRYSUM's blessing. HELICHRYSUM is the blessing from heaven to earth. This is an incredible oil. I'm really excited to talk about it today. So this is a little flower in the daisy family. And it's approximately 2 feet with yellow flowers that are there are about 500 different species of HELICHRYSUM. However, doTERRA sources theirs from Corsica and Albania. It's known as a healing oil, an oil that alleviates pain. And there is on the island of Sardinia and Corsica. But I think the story happened in Sardinia, if I'm correct. There was a great battle that happened there, and there was major bloodshed. And people had been killed and were laying on the earth, and their blood was seeping into the earth. And it said that after all those bodies were cleaned up and everyone was taken care of, they say the blood from their bodies had produced for somehow the growth of helichrysum flowers there, which hadn't grown there previously. So it's a very magical flower from mysterious roots. And okay, so much is going on with this. It's also energetically known as the oil for pain. So helichrysum is an amazing healer. It's an amazing healer of emotional pain. It aids the walking wounded, and it has, for those who have a history of difficult life circumstances, you know, those people who seem to say they always walk under a dark cloud. My aunt says that. She says that something bad always happens. She's always expecting the worst. And, you know, there's a lot of trauma that comes from her history and loss, or it can come from a sense of self-destruction or even abuse. So people who are feeling that really need the power of spiritual support that helichrysum can provide. It gives strength and endurance to a wounded soul who must keep living life, keep fighting the fight, right? It also has a powerful relationship with the sun. These little yellow flowers are reflective of the sun. So it transmits that joy, that fervor for life, and a hope for living. It brings brightness back into our life. It can also help people reach different heights of spiritual consciousness. So it's a great one to meditate with, which is why I suggested that we anoint our third eye and our brow center, and then place it on our heart. And I don't know about you, but I can still smell it. It's such an amazing oil. It also helps in meditation when people have been wounded, not to be bitter for our past experiences that have given us a wounded heart, but it helps us to really appreciate those moments when we're really brought to our knees, because those are the times when we are often calling out to God, when we pray, you know, when we come in the closest contact with the spiritual realm. So trauma can often be an unseen gift, and the lessons that we learn from it and that continue to bless our lives are so amazing. I know that so many people who have experienced trauma or abuse actually use that as their superpower to help others who have been through similar issues and experiences. So helichrysum oil helps to teach individuals that gratitude for our trials. Okay. Now let's talk about the spiritual use of helichrysum. It's often used in anointing during ceremonies for existence when a baby is entering into this world. Oftentimes in ancient history, new beings, new little human beings have been anointed from head to toe. So if you wanted to do that, helichrysum would be a great one to anoint a new baby into the world with. And you can take 1 drop of the essential oil and dilute that with 3 to 4 tablespoons of fractionated coconut oil or any kind of carrier oil of your choice, really. But fractionated coconut oil is so nice because it doesn't leave a greasy residue on the skin. And when we dilute the oils, they absorb into the skin over a longer period of time, and they penetrate into the deeper layers of the skin, into all 7 layers. Let's see. So it's also got relaxing properties, so it's a great one to use on infants and newborns. It's known to improve spiritual sight and knowing, like clairvoyance, claircognizance. It's used to help spirits and other entities find their way to the light or to the other side, so to speak. It's kind of a way to guide those misguided or lost souls. Emotionally, it helps us through any kind of transition as well. So as we, as a baby transitions into life from the womb, that's a very precious ceremony. But when people are going through different transitions in their life, this is a good time to use helichrysum. And I can think of a transition for women in middle life, just turning 50 years old last month. It kind of gives you a different perspective to just sit and think about the fact that I've walked this earth for 50 years now, 5 decades. 5. It's pretty amazing. And it's just such an honor to be here, I think. Whew, it's powerful. Okay, so let's move on to how it's emotionally balancing. It helps heal trauma, emotional trauma, helps heal old wounds, and encourages intuition and creative dreaming. It's known as honey for the psyche. Okay, so historical uses for helichrysum have been used for asthma, bronchitis, whooping cough, headaches, liver ailments, and skin distortions. Skin disorders. See, I need my glasses. Its properties, it's antibacterial, anti-carathal, I don't know how to pronounce that. It helps to, for coughing. I have to look up the pronunciation of that. It's anticoagulant. So this is known as stitches in a bottle. It's a great one to keep in your first aid kit. I carry it with me all the time. I love it. It's one that is really gentle because we can use it on infants, but also most recently, my friend has a pit bull, and you know how they have that very short fur, and it's also very white on the face. And so, living here at the beach, the dog got sunburned, unfortunately. Poor thing. And she got so sunburned that she blistered, and then she started, messing with her face, and blisters are so delicate that it's very easy to make the skin weep and bleed. And so we used helichrysum on that, and it coagulates the skin immediately. And you want to use it on your pets just like you would an infant. So just 1 drop to 4 tablespoons of a carrier oil there. Okay. It's also used as an antioxidant. It's antispasmodic, antiviral. It's an expectorant and removes mucus from the body. Having problems with my words today. Okay. Let's see. This essential oil has been steam distilled from the flowers, and the common uses, there's a whole list. You can use it for an abscess, like a tooth. It's been used for AIDS, HIV, aneurysms, bleeding, like I said, bone bruises. It's really good to put in a remedy for broken bones, broken blood vessels, bruises. It's used to balance out cholesterol. It's known to cleanse. Its cleansing qualities. It's used for colitis, cuts, dermatitis, or eczema, detoxification, earaches, fibroids, gallbladder infection, hematomas, hemorrhaging, herpes, incisional hernia, a liver stimulant, lymphatic drainage, nosebleeds, pancreas stimulus, psoriasis, sciatica, shock, staph infection, stroke, as a sunscreen. That's interesting, right? Swollen eyes, when our taste is impaired, tennis elbow, tinnitus, tissue pain, tissue repair, vertigo, viral infections, or wounds. Okay, so you can use this all 3 ways. You can use this applied topically, either neat, undiluted, or diluted, like I talked about. You can apply it directly to an area that's affected on the body or on the soles of the feet when it's absorbed into the body within 2 minutes and delivered throughout all the blood vessels within 20 minutes. Energetically, you can put it on the pulse points of your neck, your wrists, the base of the back of the head, and the heart center, especially focusing on the big toe, which has the reflex point for the brain there. Let's see, what else can I tell you? French medicinal uses for this oil is they've used it for blood cleansing, chelation, as a chelating agent for metallics, chemicals and toxins, viral colitis, detoxification, gallbladder infection, hematoma, hypocholesterol, I would assume that would be high cholesterol, liver cell function stimulant, lymphatic drainage, pain reduction, pancreas stimulant, sciatica, sinus infections, skin conditions such as eczema, dermatitis, or psoriasis, stomach cramps, and a sunscreen. Other possible uses, this oil may help with anger management, bleeding, circulatory functions, hearing, detoxifying and stimulating the liver cell function, acute pain, relieving respiratory conditions, reducing scarring, scar tissue, regenerating tissue, and varicose veins. Wow. I warned you it was a powerhouse. For those of you who like making your own blends, this is known as a personifier. It's uplifting to the subconscious. It may help calm those feelings of anger. It blends well with geranium, clary sage, rose, lavender, so other flowers, spice oils, and citrus oils. So for minor cuts and wounds, just 1 drop. As soon as you cut yourself, use a drop of helichrysum neat right on your wound, directly on your cut, and it will help you stop the bleeding. And it also begins the healing process. And I can testify to this because I've done this many times. It also will alleviate that throbbing sensation of pain when you like cut yourself, for example. You can put a drop of lavender on a few hours later to continue the healing. And it may be used undiluted for cuts, bug bites, burns, wounds, but do not put it on a puncture wound because a puncture wound needs to heal deeply from the inside out, not from the outside in. So if you were to put helichrysum on a puncture wound, it would start healing the wound on the surface, and you don't want that. So not on puncture wounds. It heals the tissue quickly. And so puncture wounds need to heal from the inside out. It's used as an analgesic, so it's pain relieving. It's anti-allergenic, so it reduces inflammation, pain, and swelling, and used to relieve allergies that oftentimes manifest in the skin. So think about those itchy rashes, you know, when you have a breakout reaction to something that you're allergic to. Let's see, it's antibacterial and it has antimicrobial activities. It's used as an antidepressant. Many people have reported to feel so much more uplifted when they use helichrysum. Its ability to prevent and alleviate bruising after a trauma. And I can attest to that as well. True story, although I hate to admit it, but I was giving a friend of mine a massage and she had this massage table that we had folded up and leaned against the wall by her head. And I don't know what happened or how it fell, but it ended up falling and like hitting her head. And she was, you know, you could just see immediately her eyes beginning to well up with tears. And not only was it just painful, but it was shocking. So quite disturbing to a massage. But I had frankincense and helichrysum right on hand. And so we put both on one at a time. We layered it. So we put a drop of helichrysum first and then frankincense, because frankincense is also known to be used for any kind of head trauma. And so, you know, instead of her getting this huge goose egg on her head and it feeling really throbbing and hurting, she said that the pain pretty much went away immediately and she didn't have that goose egg and she hardly had any bump at all. So it was like a miracle. Oh my God. So sad. That's like a massage therapist nightmare, you know, to have something like that happen to your client. So yes, so you can use it on hematomas. And one of the reasons why it's so powerful is because it's that combination of that anti-inflammation, that anti-inflammatory action, and it's got vasodilatory effects. And it also prevents edema, that swelling or that water collection and buildup. It's also antispasmodic. It's healing to the skin, to wounds. It's used as a tonic throughout the ages, as an antidepressant, again, to uplift the mood, to enhance vitality and well-being. And this aroma has a powerful, it is powerful, isn't it? Powerful, rich, sweet, honey-like scent. It's almost fruity, or like smelling like tea is a really good way to describe it, with that warm herbaceous scent. So it's kind of that the dried herb scent. And you can, if you smell close, and you may be able to smell nuances of rose in there. And it can impart a sweet, burnt, sugar-like element to your blend. So it's so amazing. Let's see. You can also use it to support the musculoskeletal system. So it's useful for muscle or tendon damage, like if you get a sprain or a fracture or something, you want to put HELICHRYSUM in your blend, and that will definitely support the facilitation of healing more quickly. It's great for injuries, like I said, for the soft tissue damage, for pain, inflammation, bruising, and preventing of infection. And let's see. And it blends well for with lavender, marjoram, geranium, rose, and patchouli for injuries. You can also use it with Roman chamomile or tea tree oil. Blend it with those oils if you have any kind of skin allergic reactions or rashes, or and know that it's safe and non-irritating to the skin. And it's thought to be most useful at low doses. So more does not mean better, especially with essential oils, especially with HELICHRYSUM. Okay, I think that about covers it today. Pretty amazing, right? There's just a bunch of references there from my notes. So if you have any questions about HELICHRYSUM, please contact me. I'll put my information below. And if you want to get yourself some of doTERRA's HELICHRYSUM, it comes in a 5 milliliter bottle, and this is the highest quality essential oil that I know of, that I've found, and that's why I love to work with doTERRA, because this company tests their essential oils up to 8 to 13 times third party. So there's no other investment in the outcome or the results of the test to guarantee that these are 100% pure. Okay, that means that they have no synthetics, no harmful chemicals or harmful fertilizers or harmful pesticides. They don't have any plants or foreign weeds in there. It's just, when you see doTERRA's bottle of HELICHRYSUM right from a wellness advocate, because you can't buy them in the store, then you'll know that it's going to be guaranteed. But if you buy them from other mysterious sources, third-party sources, then they're not always guaranteed. They're not guaranteed, because it's easy to take off these covers and then just buy covers with this safety on it and just screw them back on. So they could be tampered with. Now, I'm not saying that they are, but you just never know what you're buying. So when you're using them medicinally, you want to make sure that you're getting them from someone you trust, so that they can show you how to use this precious oil. All right, my friends, I wish you a beautiful Wednesday. And next week, let's see, we will be talking about one of my other favorite oils. Although if you watch these videos, you'll see that every time I talk about an oil, almost every time, it's my favorite oil, because they're just so magical and diverse, and they can really help us and support us in our wellness, in our beauty and rituals, and in our life in so many ways. I'll be talking about jasmine next week. Queen of the night. All right, my friends, wishing you a lovely afternoon. Namaste.